That's what I had been, my friends, everyone did exactly what I did, so it was nothing new. I didn't invent it, but I brought it to film, and I just want to say, it's okay to have fun. It's okay to own your own jet ski and invite the men over.
You said you were assertive, and that word specifically, I encountered some challenges, I shall say, being an assertive Black woman. I wonder if you've encountered any of those.
Oh, yeah. Once a director who was considering hiring me didn't want me to play the anger scene that was organic to me. And he said, women don't scream. I don't want you to scream. I don't want you to get angry. And I said, well then I'm gonna get a hemorrhoid if I don't. I'm gonna have to release this anger in this scene. So we did eye to eye, and often if there's a director who is not as authentic and organic, I won't work with them. I won't do it. I can say no and live in Colorado cheaply. But also when I wanted to work with John Carpenter for Escape from LA, John's wonderful. If you like John Carpenter's work, and he's wonderful, a wonderful human being, and so he and Kurt wanted me to meet with him as Kurt's friend, pal, Hershey Las Palmas, and I said, Hershey is a man who is going to be transgender, and I went, okay, so I'm going to play a man playing a woman, and I'm already a woman. So how do I do this? So I put on some leggings and a t-shirt and some high tops. And then I get this sock and I roll it up and I stuff it down my pants. A nice athletic tube sock. And I park, outside his office, and the production crews are coming in and out, and I walk in, and one of the crew members says, hey, that man really looks like Pam Grier. I said, I think I got the job. I think it's working, so I had to saunter in. So I said, okay, all right, what's up? How you doing? Yeah, yeah, what it is, saying, hey, say, hey, John, Kurt, what's up? How you doing? So John started almost peeing on himself. And he said, John, Kurt, Pam, Kurt, Hershey. And he gave me the job because I was assertive, literally assertive. So anyway, I got to work with John. I got to lower my voice, let my armpit hair grow out, and play a man.
I'm going to look at that movie tonight. See if there's actually armpit hair. That's
yeah, quite a bit long. And let me tell you, it tickles. And I let it grow really long where you could twist it up and braid it, So when I raised my arm, it was like, whoa, she really is. So I was trying to be, being assertive, organic, do the work, so that they could see me as a man with braids and breasts and a corset and my voice lowered, and that's a part of the work. I took it seriously, as Stanislavski told me to. So that's why I had to stuff, the sock.
I'm not even sure if I can follow that with a question.
You're gonna have nightmares from it now.
But that's what I like about it is that you got is a great role. I mean, I love John Carpenter movies. I'm pretty sure I've seen all of them. And I mean, Erica, how has that worked for you? I mean, there have been obviously negative issues with being assertive. What about positive?
I feel like in the tech industry, if you are not assertive about what you get steamrolled, right? And so even though I do get pushback for being very assertive and not taking no for an answer when I need something or when something needs to get done, I think that it has been beneficial for me largely because when I go in a room and I start talking about technical minutia, and I'm very assertive about it. I don't ask questions. I don't do. I'm very careful not to do the upspeak, right? When I'm talking about it, and I am very like, this is how it is. This is what we're gonna do. Any comments, any questions, concerns? You know, I get very like assertive. Like, this is Erica in business mode, right? And people take me seriously, especially when I start like rambling on about, you know, certain things in, you know, our build system. I do build and release engineering at Slack, and I, you know, created the whole thing as first build and release engineer at Slack, and I built the whole system. I was the architect and everything, and I started going on about things that nobody else knows about, and they're like, oh, she knows what she's talking about. And then I continue with my assertive voice, and people listen and they start doing. And I think that has been a superpower of mine in the tech industry. Like, I go in a room and I make sure I come in, and I'm also very tall. I'm 6 feet tall. I don't know if y'all saw when I walked out. I'm also wearing heels. And so I go in the room and I'm a 6 foot tall Black woman who is telling you exactly what you need to be doing. And it works, but you know.
It will work. Excellent.
And we are all better for it, seriously. Something to kind of segue into that. I mean, Eric and I are really, you know, involved in diversity, inclusivity in tech. Hollywood, as we know, has issues as well. And you know, the arc of your career, Pam, has been, you know, early on as a bit player. You went through the era where, like every other month, there was a new movie starring you, or any number. Now it's like I'm so fanboyish that I can't remember Richard Roundtree's name.
Yeah, Shaft.
Yeah.
Shut
How
your
can I
mouth.
not remember Richard Roundtree's name? But it's like, you know, and so every other month these movies were coming out. You know, we were, as African Americans, were being portrayed on screen. But then something happened in the 70s and 80s where that stopped. Can you maybe take us through what you saw from your vantage point?
So being a producer as well, and understanding the dynamics of marketing and advertising. When our films came out, we were in just a single-story theater. And my films, Tamara Dobson, Richard Roundtree, Isaac Hayes, Jim Kelly, Jim Brown, our films of our culture were filling up, you know, for weeks in those small theaters. And that kept a lot of the mainstream product marketing out. So that ingenious developed the multiplex eventually, right, literally within the late 70s. And I didn't want to bore my audience, because in film school, there's a class called audience development, and how you introduce actors and genre that the audience loves, that keeps supporting the making of it. And what I saw is we were being too redundant, too derivative, and that would send our audiences away. And so I would go out and talk to audiences. You can't be a good marketer or an actor, a director, writer, unless you go out and talk to your audience to find out what they want to see, what they're looking for. And they'll tell you if they're bored. I haven't seen that 3 times. And they were like, oh, okay. So they wanted historical characters. They wanted to see more, and it was too expensive. I wanted to do Mary Fields, the first stagecoach driver for the mail route in Montana that the late Gary Cooper wrote about in Ebony magazine. I wanted to do Deadwood Dick, and with Mary Fields, I wanted to do with Calamity Jane, who was white, Annie Oakley, and Mary Fields. And I still couldn't get the studios to come aboard. They said they wouldn't believe a black stagecoach driver. And I had the pictures, I had I had agents, I had walked in with memorabilia and books and my family and agents, like a huge entourage, like trying to pitch and tell this story and convince them to make a movie for $1 million. Mine were all like $650, $750, but they grossed $10, $20 million. And so they still said the audience won't believe it.
That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Hey, nothing makes sense.
You're
Yeah, Yeah, well, and so what I think is as I was being hired by foreign film companies to work, they really liked the independence of what I was doing in the market, and they were saying, you do unique things, and everyone else is redundant. I said, well, what do I do? How do I build that computer? How do I build my brand? And so by then we had lost the momentum. We lost because everyone was so derivative. I said, we can't keep doing the same things over and over and over again. You know, I don't know what I have to do, and that's why we lost that energy. Just being redundant and boring.
Were you redundant and boring as a result of the film studios saying, well, you need to make that film because that film did well with Black people, so do it again?
They said that to me once, and I said, but you go to the hood, you go to the community, and you tell them you're going to make the same movie over and over and over again, and you're not going to get that. You're not going to get the support. And they said, well, okay. And there was only AIP, American International Pictures, who was bought by Screen Gems, was the only studio that would make films of color, and support me. I seemed to get a lot of the support. And then finally, they were going to thrust us into mainstream. I came up with an idea, a buddy picture, with me and Tamara Dobson, who was Cleopatra Jones. And she taught me makeup, and I taught her how to shoot a gun, ride a motorcycle. They thought, she said, you crazy. And she taught me how to shop. So my autobiography is going to be a film. Benny Richburg, who might be here by now, was the showrunner and writer for Fresh Prince Martin and the Jamie Foxx show for 15 years, took a challenge, and he saw my book at Samuel French, the industry bookstore, as he was driving by, and he jumped out at the stoplight and went in and bought an option at that night, and I asked him to write it. I said, if Quentin can use the female side of his brain, you can use the female side of your brain, and I challenged him. And he came to Colorado, and he started writing it, and all of the issues that we're discussing now will be in the film as well. And that was the same question of what happened, and when Tamara and I got together, we was going to be a mainstream buddy movie. I would be grassroots and she would be sophisticated, and we were detectives, and it was going to be unique, and we almost got